today's video, we'll be talking about narrative text. First, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Raihan.
My name is Aldeline.
My name is Angelina. You know, most people say narrative text is only to tell about the character and explain what the story is about. But not only of that, there's more of narrative text more than about character.
And of course, in this video, we would like to talk about the narrative text, starting from the definition, the purposes, and the genre structures, and the language features. First, we will talk about the definition of narrative text.
That will be explained by Raihan.
Narrative text is a text about story containing complication or problematic events, and it attempts to find a resolution to solve the problem. The crucial part of narrative text is a narrative mode, which is the set of the methods used to communicate the narrative through a process narration. Narrative text comes in various forms of stories. For example, fictions such as fairy tales, legends, myths, fables, and non-fictions. I'm sure you have to read one or more kinds of narrative text. The purpose of narrative text is to entertain or amuse the reader with the story.
And now that you have already known about the definition and the purposes of narrative text, and for today, let us also discuss about how narrative text is constructed, or what we call it, the generic structures of the narrative text. The first is, of course, every story has the beginning, and what we are going to talk about is the beginning of narrative text, which is called orientation. In orientation, the author of the story will tell about where and when the story happened and introduces the characters of the story. So basically, it's just the background of the story, and the author just put the characters in the story in the beginning and the background of the background place of the story and when the story happens. And the second is complication. In this complication, we can call it that rising action happen in the story that can trigger problems or conflicts in the story. So complication can give the feeling of suspense and thrill for the readers, because there will be the start of a problem and the conflicts that can make the story more interesting. And the third is the resolution. The resolution, the purpose of resolution in narrative text is to resolve the conflicts that happen in complication. And so basically, not every problem in narrative text can be resolved, but most of the story in narrative text, the complication will be resolved in the part of resolution. The last but not least, the last part of a narrative text is called reorientation or coda. Reorientation or coda is optional in every narrative text. That means there is not every narrative text has reorientation, because reorientations only consist of a statement that indicate the moral, the teachings, and the advice that the authors give for the readers. And the moral of the story is sometimes conveyed implicitly. So not every narrative text has explicitly stated that there will be a moral of the story in the narrative text. And so that's all for the generic structures, and let's just jump for the language features of the narrative text.
Knowing and learning about what is the narrative text and how the narrative text is constructed, there are some language features that the author used to make the story more engaging and interesting. The use of language feature can help the readers to more enjoyable of reading narrative text. First, the most important thing or visible is the use of simple past tense, such as when, gave, and many more. And the second is the use of actual time, such as once upon a time or long time ago. And the third is the author used pronouns to describe the character in a specific way. And the fourth is the author needs to include time conjunction. Time conjunction we can say before, then, when, or suddenly. And the last is dialogue speech. In the narrative text, it will make the story more lively.
Now, after we learn more about narrative text and its components, let's take a look at this example. The story is about Snow White. What is the first paragraph called? Yes, it's the orientation, the beginning of the story that introduces the characters and the setting of the story. The next two paragraphs, what are they? Yes, the second paragraph is complication 1, and the third paragraph is the resolution to the complication 1, so it's called resolution 1. Similarly, the next two paragraphs are complication 2 and resolution 2, respectively. And the last paragraph is the reorientation or coda that contains the moral of the story. Good job!
As you can see from the text, most of it is in past forms, using past verbs. Let's take a look at paragraph 2. Can you point out the verb that is written in the past form? Yes, the verb hurt is the irregular past form from the verb here, and regular past verb wanted from the verb want. Next, take a look at the first paragraph. Which one is the example of adverb of time? Yes, once upon a time. It indicates the story happened sometime in the past. And how about the word Snow White? What kind of word is that? Yes, that's pronoun. Remember, the author used pronoun to describe the character in a specific way. Next, take a look at the second paragraph. Which one is the example of time conjunction? Remember, conjunction of time or time conjunctions are words that help us to know when something happens. Some common conjunctions used to show time. So, the answer is yes. Then is a time conjunction. The last question is, can you find the direct speech in the text? Yes. What is your name? Is the example of the direct speech. The direct speech same as kalimat langsung in Indonesia. Now, all of you already know about the language feature of narrative text. Good job, everyone.
Okay, that's all for today's video. If you have any suggestion that can improve our video to be better, you can leave a comment or two in our comment box. And thank you for watching and have a great day. See ya!